Divorce. Business is tough enough. What do you do when you're going through a divorce or a breakup, whether it be a partnership or a spouse or sometimes maybe both? Well, today's guest, Katie Schroder, talks us through her journey, what she would do again and what she wouldn't. Stay tuned. Hey kids, and welcome to Designed by Wingnut Social. I am your host, interior decorator Darla Powell, and today's guest, Katie Schroder, has been through it. She went through the ringer with a business partner that she had to divorce for, let's just say, reasons, and she has bounced back bigger and better and smarter and stronger and wiser. And in my conversation with her, we find out what that looks like, what she went through, what she would do again. And she might do some of the same things again. I'm not going to fool you because, like I said, did I mention she's come back bigger, stronger, better, and wiser, right? And some of the things that she would not recommend you do. If you're considering partnering up with a spouse or you have a stellar employee, you're like, hey, you want to run the business with me? Let's take a breath. Let's take a couple steps back and make sure we have all our ducks in a row. And of course, she's going to talk us through her journey and her story. But before I get into my conversation with Katie, I want to remind you that Designed by Wingnut Social is actually sponsored by the marketing agency Wingnut Social, which is a digital marketing agency for home pros. And that's interior designers, architects, interior design business coaches, PR agencies, manufacturers, vendors to the trade accounts, that kind of thing. You can check out more services over at wingnutsocial.com. I do want to say we only have 2 more open spots for our full service done for you social media marketing before we are going to implement a wait list for that. So if you have been kicking around getting on that train and having someone else do your social media marketing for you to help grow your business, now would be a very good time. Going into the end of the year, getting ready for the first quarter of the new year to ramp up that marketing to help your business grow and to attract your ideal client. Now would be the ideal time before we have to implement that wait list. We have our new program, our hybrid social media program, which is kind of half done for you, half you do it yourself with our guidance, of course. And I believe we have 2 or 3 openings for that as well. That has been doing really well for us. So wingnutsocial.com, hit that Let's Chat button, see how we can work together. And that is my spiel for now. Before I get into my conversation with Katie, you all know the drill. Katie Schroder is the principal and founder of Atelier Interior Design, a full-service, award-winning interior design firm. Katie's designs are driven by vibrant colors and patterns, which are complemented with textural and sculptural details. With over 20 years of experience, Katie brings the expertise to match her energetic approach. All right, she does too. Wingnuts, help me in welcoming Katie Schroder to the show. Hey there, Katie Schroder. Welcome to the show. How the hell are you?
I am dandy. Thank you for having me.
I'm pleased to hear that you're a dandy. I as well am dandy. So shall we be dandy together?
Let's.
Katie, I love this topic that we're going to go into, and I have a feeling we're both going to go to a difficult spot in our lives, but I guarantee you that there are designers in the audience who are either currently in a similar situation, have gone through and have struggled through, and we are going to talk about what happens when you have a breakup with a long-term business partner.
Yeah.
It can be devastating, right? It can be really devastating.
It really was.
Depending on the complexity of the relationship, even more so, right? So before we dig into this and you tell us your story about how you bounced back and you became the wonderful and amazing Atelier, right? Interior design.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about who you are, what you do, and we'll dig in.
Yeah, so I'm Katie Schroder. I am the owner of Atelier Interior Design. We have been in business for almost 20 years. We do mostly residential design, and we do some light commercial. We do a lot of remodels, new builds, furnishings, the whole jam. I've been living in Denver for 25 plus years and absolutely love this business. And I'm excited to speak with you about it more. Do you want me to dive into the trauma?
Well, I wanted to say, because I actually have your website and your Instagram pulled up over here to my right. I have 3 screens here. And your design is so pretty. It's so wonderful and colorful and beautiful. Very nice, you guys. Yeah. You need to check her out. It's at Atelier Denver on Instagram.
Yes. Or atelierid.com is our website if you want to be old school.
www.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Sure.
Our mantra is color pattern culture. And so we really kind of stick to that with our aesthetic. We do it all, but people gravitate to us for that vibe. So we love it.
All right. So thank you for that breakdown. So 20 years you've been in business, right?
Yeah.
You're in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So are you a solo person now? What
Yes.
does your team look like?
Yeah, so I have 3 employees and myself, so there's 4 of us total. Plus, I have some, side help, bookkeepers and such
Sure.
I contract out. But I love being this size. It's a good size. We've been bigger. We've been like 8 or 9 people, and it's a lot to manage. And I think this size is a way more manageable. And I like to be more of a family vibe and be more intimate. And we really kind of have that. So it's really nice and satisfying.
Yeah, 3 to 4 is definitely more manageable than 8 or 9. I've been in both positions, and yeah, my stress just went down when you said 3 to 4 versus
Right, me too. I've heard a design firm, being 100 people, and that makes my blood pressure go to max capacity.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I would just be like, okay, someone else take this, please.
Yeah.
All right, I digress. Okay, so 20 years in business. Now you're the head honcho, the great grand high poobah. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the partnership experience. First of all, how you got into that, the decision making going into that, in case there's anything there that someone can learn from about maybe what to not do.
Yes.
I don't know if you have that situation. We're going to find out. And then we'll get into the journey.
Yeah. So I started the company and I brought on a partner kind of slowly over time. I'm kind of a slow build. I started the company in '05 and I hired her, I hired an employee in '08 and it was a recession and things were tough. And so we kind of morphed into a friendship and a good business working relationship pretty fast. And eventually we decided to become partners. And we, that was kind of verbal. And then we had an agreement written a couple years later, and I don't think it ever got properly signed. I mean, I know it didn't. And so it just became awkward. And even though we were 50-50 business partners, you'd think that would be an easy agreement to sign, but somehow it wasn't. And we just didn't properly handle it. And so time went on and our friendship was pretty close, and our business, our working relationship as well. And I just, we just didn't see an end in sight. And so we just kept going and, swept the dirt under the rug. And then came to a bad place. And so, what you wanted to ask me deeper questions about that. So go ahead.
I did. Okay. So looking back, I'm sure you have regrets about not signing that, or as the business owner, and sweeping some of that stuff under the rug. And I'm guilty of doing the same thing. I had a business partner breakup. I was married actually to my partner at the time.
Sorry.
Right. So it's okay. It's all right. I'm remarried now since.
Good.
So everything worked out. There was no agreement in place, and we didn't even write one up because no end in sight, was married. Nobody was going anywhere.
Right.
So I have some regrets about not being more business minded in that aspect of it, because I took a huge hit for that. Right. So, are you allowed to say what with a friendship? Right. We think nothing can go wrong. Are you allowed, or are you comfortable with saying the kind of dirt that's under the rug, or like some examples?
And I don't even know, if it was the agreement that, because ultimately it went to mediation, and we had to kind of duke it out and who was actually going to walk away with the business.
Holy cow.
So, I mean, I was going to fight hard because I started the company. I was going to have the company. It was my feeling. And so, it was an ugly time. My husband had just been sick the year prior with cancer, and it was like one of those life-changing kind of moments that I did not feel supported. And so, I mean, I think my point is, I wish I had a better agreement intact, but would there be a different outcome? Hard to say, because I still was going to have to probably buy her out. Maybe it would have been a dollar amount that we could have written, but I don't even know that dollar amount was written, because, our business just got more profitable because it, gained in value. And so I don't know,
Needless to say, I guess without going into the dirt, right? You guys had a falling out in your friendship for whatever reasons. Was it more personal, financial? Can you tell us that? Or
I think it was all related to one. We just kind of had some power struggles within, and there was some, in my opinion, there was some greater success on my end, and I was feeling like it wasn't a fair
I see.
equity partnership.
Yeah. Okay.
And therefore and also the friendship was struggling. So it was a multitude of downfalls. And so.
Sure. Yeah. Whenever we lose someone we care about, or especially if it devolves like that, it's always painful.
And mine was really like a divorce as well, because, I lost a friendship. We owned a piece of property together that we had to, sell and divvy up.
Wow.
We had the kids, quote unquote, which were our employees, it felt like a divorce to me. I would call it a business divorce, but it was more than that. It was a friendship divorce too.
All right, you guys know, or at least I hope you know, or if you don't, I'm not doing my job, that we do full service social media management for you guys, interior designers, architects, and to the trade vendors or furnishing manufacturers, etc. But we are excited to announce our very new hybrid plan with Wingnut Social. It's kind of a half done for you, half you do it yourself sweet spot. If you're a beginning designer or a firm who's just really kind of getting started in social media marketing, but don't quite have the marketing budget to delegate it to a marketing firm, because that's a pretty decent size investment, right? This is our hybrid solution, and it's perfect for busy designers who the power of consistent professional content on Instagram. You've heard guest after guest and client after client say how they're getting leads from Instagram, right? But you have that overwhelm. You have no idea what to post, when to post, what the hashtags and captions should look like for a value proposition, a mix in order to reach your ideal client. Well, ta-da! Introducing the hybrid plan with Wingnut Social. You get a monthly content calendar where we create the content for you and you post at your leisure on your own time with our guidance. We're doing the posts, we're doing feed posts, we're editing reels for you. You get 8 feed posts, 2 reels. We're writing the captions for you. We are researching the hashtags for you that drive engagement with guidance, best practices, and quarterly strategy sessions to make sure that your strategy and everything is in alignment with your business goals. So if you want to find out some more information on our amazing hybrid plan, it's been very popular so far. Head on over to wingnutsocial.com and hit up that Let's Chat button, and let's see how we can work together. Again, that's wingnutsocial.com. For sure. Yeah, I understand that completely. So do you think that you mentioned you're not even sure if a contract would have made a difference, a 50-50 contract? I'm assuming, do you think if you had drawn up a contract that was like 49-51, that a lot of your woes would have been avoided?
Maybe. I don't know that it would have been signed if that was the case. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I think that, I'm sure a lawyer could have figured out our agreement for us and come to some sort of understanding. And so, I'd have a lot of regret in not handling that properly. Right. Therefore, there was nothing to turn to. I mean, we had it, but it really couldn't hold the test because, it wasn't a proper document.
Yeah. So lesson learned, right? Yeah. Okay. So this happened in 2020.
2019, the end of 2019.
Mine was in 2020, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So there's probably a lot of comeback after that, a lot of struggle. You did the mediation. I'm assuming it's settled financially. I'm speaking to you and not her. So you own the business, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So what was that like, digging yourself out of that? What changes did you have to make in the company? And
it was brutal, because finishing up projects that she was kind of going to step away from design for a bit. And so it was just kind of, ugly, like down to the last sofa, that we had to let go of and deliver and all those types of details. I mean, it was months, it probably went on for another 9 months to a year after that, because it just trying to settle things up. I ended up keeping the employees that I really valued and that I really wanted. We had to let people go, which was incredibly hard and does not feel good in any way. I think that was, second to, the partnership, the employee thing was really hard, but it was good. I mean, I could really kind of rebuild and put the emphasis and value on things that I thought were really important to what I thought made a good, hardworking company. And I could kind of change things up, and I didn't have to ask anybody. There were times when I was like, felt guilty for making a $125 decision about a parking space. I did feel a lot lighter and able to move freely in my decision making, which I'm a kind of a fierce businesswoman, but I'm also, like to have fun and have a good time. So I'm a bizarre balance for this, but and so I just felt freedom that I hadn't felt in 10 years. So.
Yeah, I did the same. So I was very dependent on my partner. I almost used her as a crutch, right? And some decision-making things as an excuse not to actually get in there and put on my big girl pants sometimes and run the business.
Yeah.
And since then, I am so much stronger, so much better. I don't have to run any decisions by anybody. So there is that, right? That is on the brighter side. And you just turned 50, right? Was it right? Okay, this year?
Yeah, just a week ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And so I turned 56 this year. And there was a time after my divorce, and there was a time, I'm assuming after your divorce, your friendship divorce, where I was like, I almost just kind of wanted to hang it up, because at least for me, I mean, it's a little different, but not, it's similar.
Yeah.
My mindset was, very devastated, sad, very, what I'm going to do. I was 52 at the time, 51, 52. I'm like, it knocked all the wind out of my sails for a while. It took me a while to get my mental attitude back from this. And, I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to show her. And I did. Right. It was my first motivation, which might be, juvenile and silly or petty, but, hey, it worked. So what was your mindset immediately after for you to get the strength to grow to where you are now?
Yeah. So I think for me, I was the opposite. Like on the business side of things, I just was like, let's go. Let's put our heads down and let's get this party started. And it was 6 months before the pandemic. So that was a whole nother set of problems. So from the business side of it, I don't even know. It was more kind of rebuilding between that 6 months of the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, it was just like, oh boy, here we go, and as we all know, business just soared. And so I didn't really reflect on that. It was more of a reflection for me with losing the friendship that really hurt. Also, there was something I wanted to say too. My ex-business partner was also an architect in town. And so it was, I felt like I was in business with him too. So I think that was part of the grievance. And it was nice to just feel really liberated. And like, I felt like I was going to make all my own decisions and that I could really just lead the company where I wanted to. But the friendship part of it took me, 2 or 3 years to get over. And there was a closeness in our friendship that it was almost like we had known each other for 30 years, or something. Sure. And so it was a different kind of friendship than, you might have right off the bat.
Best friend.
Yeah,
sure.
It was a best friend. And so that was the part that really hurt, and it was hard to get over. And quite frankly, I was the one to make the decision that we were going to end the relationship. And that was where my guilt really stuck with me for a long time. That was the problem for me. It was the guilt of having to make that decision. I basically had to choose business over friendship. And so that was stung, and that was the part for me from a guilt standpoint that took me, years to get over.
fierce businesswoman, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but you have to protect that, right?
Yeah. And I was going to at all costs.
So, Katie, if you had to do it all over again right now, I mean, would you? And if you
Yeah.
would, what are the biggest things that you would change?
I think that I have to give her credit. Like we definitely built the business. We used to do all projects together because it was the recession and, we didn't have a ton of projects. So, and then when we got really busy, we ended up doing stuff separately, having our own projects and kind of building from there. And so we built the company together. I have to give her credit for that. And it was great. And so I don't know that I regret it or would do anything differently. I mean, obviously the agreement and the legal side of it, for sure, 175% I would do differently. But I mean, from how we grew the company and our friendship and stuff, I have no regrets. Like I don't really live my life like that. I can't.
I love that because I firmly believe that we are where we're supposed to be, right? And the things that we do go through make us who we are today, make us stronger, and those lessons are learned. So do you feel like you're a stronger, better businesswoman, better friend from this whole experience?
150%. It also changed my friendships too. Like it made me think about friendship differently. And, I learned a lot from it, even though it stung and made me mad and all the field of emotions. Like, it was great. And also like probably turning 50, it's like I'm owning myself and where I'm at in this world and in life. And I have no regrets and I'm really happy with where I am now. But I know a lot of people like within my design community that have struggled with partnerships. I think it's something that you need to be really sure that you have different strengths. And so she and I did, which was great. I think if you have the same strengths, it might be a tough go because you need to bring different things to the table. And so I don't think I would say that I wouldn't do a partnership again. I mean, it would be a different setup. It would be more like, 60-40 or 75-25,
Sure.
like it would be
with
very
the legal.
Right. With the legal. Don't forget.
And an attorney. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's get the attorney signing, and ourselves, clearly. So yeah, I think, reflecting, it was a good experience, but in the end, the divorce itself was ugly and horrible and, left us both pretty mad and the friendship has not repaired. So that's the sad,
Same. Right. I wouldn't change anything because that experience helped to bring me to where I am at the risk of being redundant, but helped to build the business in the beginning. And we're not on speaking terms, right? Which is sad, that's just the way it is. And when you think, if you're out there and you're prospecting a partner, if you have someone working for your firm, or you're married, and I'm not saying it's not going to last because it's all going to last happily ever after forever. But if you'd have told me 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before my divorce that would happen, I said, you're out of your bat. You're crazy out of your mind. This is forever. I'm going to grow old with this person.
Totally.
You just absolutely never know. So it's really important to be smart.
Just be business smart. Just be business smart. That's the big regret. And I'm very trusting and easygoing, and it bit me. So don't do that.
Yeah. So just don't feel like you're a bad person or anything to protect yourself. You'll thank yourself later. Yeah. Katie Schroder, thank you so much for sharing this journey. I know it wasn't easy, but you have come back stronger and better than ever, and I can really appreciate and admire that.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Now I have to ask you if you're ready for the What Up Wingnut round.
Let's go.
What would the hashtag on your tombstone be?
Oh, wow. Hashtag let's party.
I've spoken like a true Virgo. You're stuck on a deserted island, but you can have your favorite food forever. What is it?
Toast and eggs.
Okay, I'll take that. Last but not least, please recommend a book that's impacted you either professionally or personally.
I would say American Dirt was an amazing book. I don't know if that was like my favorite book of all time, but I have menopause brain and that's what I got.
What did you like about it? How did it affect you?
It just was like quite an amazing story. I'm from San Diego, and it was a story about immigration and, crossing the border and how scary that was. And so I just found it profoundly interesting and sad that we can't come to a resolution on all of this. And I don't know, it just came to mind.
Who's the author on that? American Dirt.
It is Janine Cummins.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that recommendation. Katie Schroder, thank you for being on the show. Please tell the listeners where they can go to find out more about you and Atelier Interior Design, and we'll call it a day.
Awesome. So they can go to Atelier Denver on Instagram, or they can go to atelierid.com and check us out. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
All right, kids. Are you in a similar position? Maybe you have a partner you guys aren't seeing eye to eye on. Maybe, Lord forbid, that you don't have an agreement in place, or you have an agreement in place that maybe needs some revisiting, and you're kind of sweeping some dirt under the rug. You're afraid to look at it. You're afraid to really put on those big girl pants and see where you are and what needs to be done in order to protect your business or to make you happy. Maybe you're tired of asking your partner if you can do the things you used to do before you had one. After a deep dive into your situation here, I do hope that you got some takeaways from Katie Schroder, from her experience, and it's a cautionary tale. Now, of course, at the end, it ended happily. She's heartbroken with the loss of friendship. I was heartbroken with the loss of my relationship, but we're both in better places. And I do firmly believe that everything happens for a reason, makes us stronger and better and grows our business, but that doesn't mean that we should be doing things willy-nilly to get there, right? We should have a solid plan in place. So just your mileage may vary, but just consider that before you go into any partnership with friends, family, someone you love, because you might not see it now, but anything can happen. Trust me when I tell you that. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Remember to hit up wingnutsocial.com and hit that Let's Chat. Let's see how we can work together. If you need help marketing your home-related business, design firm, architects, to the trade vendors, manufacturers, etc., blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. And remember, until next time, to get out there, get uncomfortable, and be great.